Okay.
Good afternoon, Mike.
Hi, Teresa.
How are you doing?
Fantastic.
All right. After 2 straight days without a positive test, how confident are you all that this outbreak has been contained and that you'll be able to get back to work hopefully tomorrow and play Buffalo on Sunday?
Hopeful, excited that we've been able to string together a couple really good days as far as the testing and really just getting back to where we were. Hoping for some continued good news tomorrow morning, and then we'll kind of see where we are with the league and hopeful to return and get back into the building.
Experience on the Yankee side and Glass now getting into a bit of a trouble.
Go ahead, Coach. Sorry.
Nope, I'm all set there.
Eric?
Hey, Mike. It's been a few days since we last spoke to you. I was just wondering if you could provide an update on how some of the infected individuals are doing. Are some still experiencing flu-like symptoms? Are most better, or any even worse?
I'd say everybody's progressing and doing well, and really just kind of, I'd say doing better, and just try to, stay away from some of the specifics, but I appreciate you asking. And everybody is doing better, and I would say that everybody's family, to the best of my knowledge, is doing well as also.
Teron?
Yeah, Coach, glad you're doing well. As far as the protocols and procedures, will there be anything different other than the new protocols that were put in place for you guys when you do eventually return?
Just whatever the league sent us. I guess that's what you're referencing as far as new. But, there's some things that we'll have to do a little differently here in the short term as it relates to, the Zoom meetings with the players as we prepare towards the end of this week.
Jim?
Mike, what's the acclimation period, I guess, as far as when you can return to practice and can, if you are back in the building tomorrow, do you hit the field, or what does that look like?
Again, there's just a lot of speculation, Jim. We haven't been cleared to go back into the building. Working through numerous schedules as it relates to what Wednesday, let's say, afternoon might look like, Thursday and Friday, as we work towards our preparation. So meetings are going well. I think the players have been very intentional with their time in the meetings, trying to stay engaged, and the coaches as well. So we'll get those going again tomorrow, and then as soon as we hear from the league, we'll try to get everybody in whenever we can.
Paul?
Mike, do you have enough coaches? I know you said last night that you're not counting on the players who have tested positive. You're not counting at this point on any of them being back. I'm wondering if the same can be said for coaches, how significant those numbers might be and what kind of contingencies you have to put in place for practice and the game if they're missing. And could they help you in any way during a game via Zoom?
Again, the most important thing is always going to be the players, to make sure that, without them, we don't have a game. But I'm hopeful that, we'll get most of the staff members back. The ones that aren't won't have a role in the game. There's nothing to say or, that they can have any sort of impact on the game from Zoom. That's never been allowed. But I think we are set up very good to be able to handle some of these things at each position. Some carryover. We've mentioned that. We've gone through that with the staff and the versatility that we think that we have in the staff at different places. So we're just going to try to prepare the team and take the 48 guys that we feel like give us the best chance to win on Sunday.
Joe?
Mike, what's the status of the investigation, and do you have any reaction to the NFL source and Schefter's story saying that you guys violated protocols?
No, Joe, they've been here. We've met with them. I've met with them. And we've been in constant contact with the league as it relates to, their thoughts, our conversations. So, I'll leave that up to the league to discuss that. And then certainly not going to have any reaction to any sort of report or, media release.
John Glennon.
Hey, Mike, wondering, I guess, how many of the 10 guys on the 10 players on the COVID list were symptomatic, and for the ones who were not, would there be any chance that those guys could play with the shortened protocol?
No, I don't. I think we're gonna, and again, I appreciate everybody's, concern for those guys. They are headed in the right direction. But to get into individual and specific symptoms, that's not something that we're going to do. And I don't think that, there's going to be a shortened return based on symptoms, so I think that we're just going to have to let this play out, let the protocols work themselves out as it relates to the time away, and then especially the return to play, the ramp up period that we've seen from other players on our team or throughout the league that, that go through this ramp up period and monitor the cardiovascular health.
Luke.
Mike, you mentioned a second ago that you all want to give, of course, the best 48 to play when you get back out there. But with the number that you have on the COVID list right now, what's your plan for ensuring that you have 48 eligible players when it comes to game day? Are you thinking about having tryouts this week? How does all of that work?
No, we're good. We had 14 guys on the practice squad, and some of those guys will have played for us. Some of those guys haven't played for us, and I know that they're excited, and I'm looking forward to seeing them play. But we're confident in what we have and trying to look at practice. And I know there'll be some guys that'll have to, pull some double duty for us as we prepare and try to give each other a look. Mostly the DBs will have to help us out as wide receivers, and that's just where we're at. But confident that we'll have the right number of players at each position for the game.
Corey.
Coach, could you kind of talk through the cardiac testing these guys have got to go through to come back and what you're looking for in that?
That's out of my hands, Corey. That's done by the doctors and the trainers. But there's a ramp up period, an acclimation period that they have to go through, no different than the concussion protocol that they would follow. So when they tell me that they're available, then we'll take a look at them on the practice field, but that's out of my control.
Jared.
Yeah, Mike, I know you said you didn't want to get into what media was reporting about the possible protocols, but after meeting with the league and reviewing the contact tracing and surveillance footage and things of that magnitude, how comfortable do you feel that you guys were handling the protocols correctly?
Well, I think I stand by, our efforts as an organization, as a team, in following the protocols that were in place. John and I put a lot of thought into it. We're going to continue to do everything that we can to make sure that, as we enter back into this building, that things are safe and the players are comfortable and that their, health and well-being is at the forefront.
Terry.
Mike, you had talked about, taking the best 48 or taking the 48 that you have available. Obviously with Bo being one of the guys that's down, you had talked about bringing in a long snapper. What is going to be the procedure if you are able to bring anybody in from the outside, knowing that they may change the protocol regarding how you bring guys in?
John and I are working through that. I mean, I'm pretty certain that they'll allow us to have somebody in here that can snap for us. You know, we understand that that's, you know, a critically important spot. Still working through some of that stuff with the league. The most important thing is that we continue to find ways to stimulate our players, to teach them what we're going to try to do against Buffalo, to anticipate a positive, or in this case, a negative results that would be a positive thing for the Titans, and that we could get back into the building. You know, that's where our focus is. And then once we can do that, I think things will start to clear up as we work towards the end of the week.
Chris Harris.
Hey, Mike, I was just wondering what your message kind of to the team is after having come through this and seemingly on the other side, and now just about being mentally and physically ready to go try to win a game this weekend.
It's a great opportunity. I mean, our guys, you know, they've prepared for the season. They want to play, and I know they're anxious to get back, to get out on the practice field, and to continue to play games, to compete, you know, against a very good Buffalo team, 4-0, scoring a lot of points, and they play extremely hard. Outscoring opponents 76 to 29 or whatever it is in the first half. So they're getting off to fast starts. They're putting up a lot of points. They've played with the lead. They're really good in the red zone. So we know the challenge, and that's where our focus is.
Steve Lehman.
Mike, you know, football players are such creatures of habit. How difficult mentally has this been beyond physically over the last week for you, your staff, and your players? And are you all concerned about that carryover as you hopefully get back to work this week?
I think mentally, I think we're strong as a unit. I'm sure that there's, you know, certain individuals that may have questions. We'll try to get those answered for them. But I know that our staff is ready to teach and ready to, you know, prepare the players for the game on Sunday.
David Beauclair.
Mike, to that end, do the post-exposure protocols put you at any sort of competitive disadvantage?
The only competitive disadvantage in my mind, David, is not playing very well. And so that'll all be determined on Sunday. If you don't play very well, if you don't play well in this league, you're guaranteed to lose. So that's what we're going to try to prepare, is that we have our guys ready to go, and that they you know, can be ready when Sunday at noon rolls around, if, you know, things continue to progress as they have the last few days.
Gentry.
Yeah, Mike, when do you expect to know for sure about being allowed back in the facility? And then how quick would you be back on the field at that point? Then once you are, what's kind of your biggest concern, given that guys have been off a week and a half, middle of the season?
I don't know anything right now, Gentry, to report. So we're basically dealing with hypotheticals. I'll let you know at 4:30 in the morning, usually when I find out. So that's what I'm waiting for. And then you talked about the concern getting back onto the field. I mean, I hope that we've done some things to stay active, but I'll have to evaluate, you know, their fitness level, their conditioning level, you know, try to have a walkthrough, you know, something like that, and then be able to run and you know, move around a little bit.
Got a good number of follow-ups here. We'll try to run through them. Jared?
What do you do?
Yeah, Mike, you said you and John were comfortable with how you guys had handled the protocols. So do you expect no discipline from the league? Because a lot of the reports were that the league was eyeing discipline. So do you expect no discipline?
I'm just trying to prepare the team, Jared, and I think that the league will put something out, or I think that would be something for them to talk about. I don't expect anything either way. I'm expected to try to get ready with these players that we'll hopefully have in there tomorrow. Continue with the squad meetings, continue with our special teams meetings, and prepare like we're playing a game at noon on Sunday at home for the first time in a few weeks.
Paul?
Logistically, with having to meet via Zoom, only 10 guys in the weight room, are you expecting to have to bounce guys back and forth from the facility to home, from the facility to their cars? Is there a lot of bouncing back and forth from the facility to treatment?
There's a lot of things that we're working through as it relates to the schedule, Paul, and I think I'm always mindful of the schedule and the effect that it has on the players. So, we'll do some things that we think, can get the players in, can stagger the entry into the building, and then when we practice and when we meet are all things that we're discussing and I'm working through right now.
Is your understanding that negative test results are all you need in the morning for reopening, or is there other conditions perhaps to it that you may or may not know about that the league has to clear you on?
I think that would be the biggest thing, in my opinion, or to my knowledge.
Joe?
Mike, I just wondered about Isaiah Wilson. He's been on the COVID list since September 6th. Why is he still on the COVID list?
I would say that there's some things that we continue to monitor with Isaiah, and hopeful that we can get him back tomorrow and be able to evaluate him and his potential return from that list.
John?
Yeah, Mike, along the similar lines, 3 guys that were hurting when you guys last practiced, AJ, Adoree, and Taylor. Chance that any or all will be back if you guys do make it to practice tomorrow?
Chance? Yeah, sure, there's a chance.
Teron?
In regards to the players that are in need of treatment, how has that worked over the last couple of days? Are they able to go in and get that like earlier last week, or what's the case with that?
We've stayed in contact with all the players that would require treatment. And a lot of them were sent home with stuff. Really confident in Todd and what he can do for our players to get them to return. And there will be some, there were some moving parts as it related to having guys, injured guys in the building. And then, at some point in time, we decided here in the last couple of days to keep those guys away. And again, hopeful tomorrow we'll be able to get those guys back into the training room.
Thank you.
Last 2, Corey?
They got me. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Corey.
David?
Mike, how much did you enjoy competing against Bill O'Brien the last couple of years, and how confident are you he's going to get another opportunity before too long?
I mean, I think everybody understands and realizes Bill's a friend of mine. He was a mentor for me in Houston, hired me, gave me my first job in the NFL. Know his family well, and again, coaching, and we understand what coaching in this league brings. And I'm confident that he'll have a job whenever he wants one. He's a good football coach. He's coached, a lot of successful teams, whether it be in college or the NFL, and got a lot of respect for Bill.
All right, that's a wrap, Coach. Appreciate it.
That's a wrap.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Bye.